Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Evan Clementino here from CRA, and today I want to shake things up a little bit. I'm going to show you guys an inside glimpse at what my day looks like and what my job looks like, what I'm doing here behind the scenes to make all this magic happen. So today's video is going to be a May recap, the month of May. And I'm going to walk you through the three biggest things that I've been working on and what that might mean for you as a contractor looking to beef up the back end, looking to be more responsible on the bookkeeping side of things, whether that's looking to save money on tax payments, whether that's looking to understand your profitability a bit more, understand your cash position. It's all integrated into the fabric of what I do on the day-to-day and on the month-to-month. So let's break it down. One of the biggest activities I've been doing this month is job costing. Now, it's because a particular client of mine has a huge job costing task that needs to be complete. For this contractor, they have a ton of larger commercial jobs in which there's hundreds of transactions for. And the end goal of this exercise was to essentially have a cost total for every line on the budget. So when the project started, the estimating team and the project management team lays out a budget for what the costs are going to be regarding this specific project. And as the project goes along, these costs are incurred, but those costs need to be cost coded and allocated to a specific line on the budget. What I've been doing is looking at those historical transactions and coding those transactions so that they hit the budget where they're supposed to. On the actual day-to-day, what that looks like is running a report to look at those transactions, grabbing all the invoices and grabbing all the POs and basically doing a three-way match saying, okay, here's an invoice. Where's the associated purchase order or the PO? And where's the associated transaction in our accounting system? That I can use the invoice to look at the items that were purchased and use my discretion as well as the purchase order to determine what the cost code is for those items and therefore determine how it's going to hit the budget. Most of the viewers in this channel are going to be like, what the fuck? That is completely like, how do you do that during a day? And I agree. Sometimes it can be a lot of paper pushing, a lot of paperwork, but the real value is this. When you understand the cost nature of your project and how it's reflecting to your budget, you know exactly where you stand on that project. So let's say you're halfway through and now you've received this cost information. You can now determine whether you're under or over budget, first of all, and therefore what decisions you need to make to stay on budget. If you're over budget, well, let's make some strategic decisions on how to keep costs down and get us back on track. And if we're over budget, well, we understand now that, I mean, we can maintain that profitability or we have some wiggle room in case there's some bigger costs coming in the future that we need to be aware about. Banks are going to require updates on the cash flow forecast and your financial statement forecast to understand how at risk they are at lending you money. So it's important to track these costs and cost code them as they are incurred so that you have these statements available. Sure, if you're a smaller contractor, you may not need all the detail, but the principle is just the same. You need to understand where projects are at in order to make strategic decisions and in order to support the business from a financial perspective. That was the first big thing that I've been working on this month. And then the second one is onboarding. So May has been an absolutely crazy month for me. I've brought on 5 new clients. These clients range from painting companies, exterior companies. We have some fence and deck companies as well. And they range in size from 1 to 10 employees. So there's a bit of a variety in the clients that I'm onboarding this month. And that alone speaks to the value of bookkeeping, regardless of the specific nature of your business. Small contractors, you need someone in your corner to help you understand your financials. Now, what does my onboarding process look like? Well, the first thing is gathering essential information. So this is having a meeting with the owner or other administrative staff in the company and understanding more about the business. What banks do you use? How many bank accounts do you operate out of? How many employees do you have? What are your payroll schedules? What's your tech stack right now? Who's currently doing your bookkeeping? What roles are being filled and what roles aren't? Typically, this is done via an onboarding meeting, but sometimes things are more pressing and can't be scheduled, so we have to figure it out over the phone or email. Anything works, right? As long as this information is being captured and the ball is rolling. An essential component to a lot of this onboarding has been payroll as well, which is interesting because it actually kind of parallels with the bookkeeping onboarding. In particular, payroll needs to be run every week or every other week. So it's not like we can just keep pushing it off until the everything else is prepared. We need to set up payroll, gather employee information, communicate with the employees to determine their tax information, direct deposit, and all that stuff, and get that ball rolling, as well as the bookkeeping ball. For me, this month has been a lot of juggling different onboarding tasks, and even for the clients, I imagine that there's a lot of tasks being thrown at them, but it's one of those commitments that with a little bit of short-term pain and short-term effort, there is going to be huge long-term reward. Another big part of onboarding is the account authorizations and access. So part of my service as a more hands-on bookkeeper or wingman, as you can call it, is that I'm monitoring your CRA inbox. So uh, one of my biggest priorities in bringing on new clients is getting access to their CRA account so I can see what's going on, what the status of their tax filings are, if they're eligible to be making installment payments, or what other obligations they may face. So the onboarding package, right away, you could start seeing value that now you have some support from your administrative and your bookkeeping team to help you understand your cash flow and think more strategically and offer some clarity. Lastly, with the onboarding, new to the month of May is the implementation of a program called Dext. So, Dext is the client facing portion of the bookkeeping process. So I use QuickBooks for the accounting, but Dext is something that you as the client and I can use to communicate with each other. Essentially, you can use Dext to simply capture receipts and expenses, share your invoices, and share your bank statements. And those three pieces alone is 90% of the work that you're going to do once we're up and running and once I have the onboarding complete. So Dex is a super user-friendly way for us to get bookkeeping done without putting too much of the burden on my client. Now, the third big piece to the month of May has been working with the CRA and looking at tax obligations and installment payments. The most boring part of the month for sure, but that's what I'm here for. You've likely just finished filing for your 2024 taxes. There's some specific things that you should know about if that's the case. If you've paid more than $3,000 in HST or income tax in 2024, you're required to make the installment payments for 2025. Often this gets overlooked. And then when the end of 2025 comes, you have a huge tax bill, which, whether you know it or not, a lot of it is just late fees and interest that you were subject to because you didn't make installments over the year. So a big part of this month has been looking at people's CRA accounts, determining what their payable amount was, and determining what their installments will be for 2025. On top of that, if there's outstanding tax balances, I help come up with a plan with my clients to repay those taxes, even communicating with the CRA to set up a debt repayment installment plan to put us in the good books with the CRA, but also to get ourselves back on track and to get cash flow more stable and more predictable. So this month has seen a ton of variety from pure job costing, diving into the thick of it and looking at invoices, costing items, to onboarding 5 new clients, be that payroll, QuickBooks, Dext, looking at the CRA accounts, and then finally the debt repayment and working with the CRA to make sure my clients are set up for a good year of 2025, staying on top of their payments, understanding their cash flow, understanding their obligations, and being able to better understand their business. It's been a crazy month. I appreciate all the support that I've been getting from my viewers here and on Instagram and in my community in general. It would be impossible without you. And if you're interested in jumping along for the ride, you know where to reach me. That's all for now, guys. Stay tuned.